This time Zurab Japaridze from Girchi political party faces our questions on the vision of how to develop the economy and make the business environment truly investor-friendly.
Zurab Japaridze from Girchi.
You do not have a traditional written, so to say, program. Why?
Well, that was a kind of a strategic decision not to have a detailed program for these elections, because Girchi is not trying to win elections now. So we don't lie to our voters. We don't say to them that we're going to win the elections and we're going to form the government and then we will do this and that. And because of that, we don't have some details and numbers in our program. What we tell to our voters is that we might be part of the coalition government if the opposition wins at the end of the day. And then what we will try is we will try to push our ideas forward as far as possible. And because of that, we initiated a special process with basically all the main opposition parties and try to find some kind of overlaps with them. And we actually achieved some success in that respect. We signed 3 documents. This is like a visions about how we want to change judiciary, how we want to change economy, how we want to change education system.
What is the logic behind choosing these 3 spheres?
So we believe in private property. So without having a proper judiciary or proper court system, you cannot have private property respected in the country. So we started with the judiciary first, then we moved to economy, and in economy we agreed that we want to reduce the government expenditure 20% in upcoming 4 years. We agreed that we want basically all these assets, these are lands, forests, like state-owned companies, all this to be owned by private citizens, by us, by citizens of this country. Our vision is that lari should be in competition with any other currency, so we should have a multi-currency regime in the country, but we could not agree on that with other parties, so we just had a general statement that we need to come up I think in 100 days, we need to come up with some kind of solution for lari stabilization. And then we moved to education, and in education the main problem we see is that it's basically owned by the state and controlled and regulated fully by the state. So we agreed that private education institutions will be out of the state regulation, and then state institutions will have like more autonomy from the Ministry of Education. Now we have these 3 agreements, and we can actually tell our voters now in next parliament, if the opposition parties win and if there is no mess and we actually manage to form the coalition for the majority in the parliament and then form the coalition government, okay, these are the topics that is feasible, that we can actually implement. So this is why we did not have the specific detailed program.
Yeah. What is in your vision for business community in Georgia?
I mean, we are for lower taxes. It's good for business. We are for free trade with any countries. It's good for business. We are for less regulations. We actually hate regulations, so we are on the side of the businesses on that. The problem we have in Georgia is lots of businesses in Georgia that are called businesses. They are actually affiliated businesses, if one may say so. So they exist as a business because they have some advantages coming from budget or from different types of regulations. Because using regulations they get rid of other like small competitors. So I think I'm not promising to businesses that I will be lobbying for some crony stuff, but what I can promise to any business in Georgia or any businessman is that I will be doing what I've been doing for years now, for advocating for lower taxes, less regulations, small government, fewer or smaller involvement of government and state in business affairs.
More economic freedom.
More freedom in general. Yeah.
In this COVID-19 context especially, why didn't you, and considering that Georgia is a relatively poor country, why didn't you focus on healthcare system, on pension system, when we see that this is the sphere where fundamental changes have taken place?
The main problem I think there is that people still perceive this reform as a good thing. The opposition parties basically hesitate to criticize the system, even now. So because of that, it's not easy to talk with them and to actually get an agreement on how we want to reform it, because if you want to reform the system, you have to criticize it. So because of that, we have not talked about healthcare or about social assistance system at all, and most probably if opposition wins, we will have to spend lots of time talking about all these topics once we are in the parliament.
Yeah. So, who is your electorate looking at Girchi as an independent player or Girchi as a team player?
I think both. Because of the two reasons. One is because we've been involved in this process of negotiating with opposition parties and trying to achieve some agreement on different important topics, and because of the fact that it's now quite clear that Girchi is a real party and we will not disappear and we will actually become a parliamentary party pretty soon, people started to look at us as a more serious party. And when they look at us, they actually listen to you. And before that, they did not actually listen to us. I mean, they had some stereotypes in their mind that like we are all like drug users, we are all against Georgia's defense and things like that. But now they actually listen. So,
what will be the fundamental change that Girchi will bring to the table?
I think we've already changed the political landscape in Georgia. We are the only party that has a clear political ideology and principles and values, and no other party has that. And we are trying to be always as truthful as possible. And telling the truth is in deficit in this country, not only in politics in general, but in politics especially. So I think we already changed this political landscape, and other parties actually have to say the truth, because truth is a powerful weapon. So.
Let's see if it's worth the game. Thank you for taking over.